on the replay, welcome. Glad you are here. We're going to be calling out 3 lies today that hold us back from creating content, whether that is podcasting, songwriting, book writing, coaching. Am I missing one? Blogging. Whatever kind of content you're creating, chances are you at some point have been held back by these 3 lies. So we're going to call them out today because in calling them out, we get rid of their limiting power in our life. So I'm going to check to make sure. If you're watching the replay, feel free to skip ahead to the 2-minute mark. We're going to wait till some people join us. Good morning. Good morning. Yay, friends are here. Let me check the group to make sure we're on. Maybe. Okay, I know we're on because folks are commenting. Photography, perfect. I want to see who you are. One limiting belief, one lie that I used to believe not too long ago, like 6 weeks ago, no more than that, 2 months ago, a long time ago, was that I don't know how to use BeLive. So I can't go live with people, invite guests on, or talk to other content creators. And then I just jumped in and started learning BeLive. And so we're not going to talk about that lie today. That's not one of the 3. Okay, I'm so sorry, friends. It is not showing up in my Facebook group on the phone. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm guessing that Doug, Doug, are you in the group? Is that who's talking to us? Alrighty. Man, that's weird. Usually I check my phone to make sure the live stream is coming through, and it is not coming through. So what that means is, there I am. Perfect. Good morning. It's Tim. Welcome. So glad you're here, Tim and Doug. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, so photography. Okay, so Doug, I was wondering, Doug, what kind of content you created. Yeah, photography. So do you have a preference of the subjects you like to photograph? If it's landscapes or people or abstract subjects, what's your forte? What brings you the most life to photograph? I bet it's going to be something riveting. I'm really bad about pausing too long because I'm waiting for you to answer them. I'm like realizing, oh wait, people are still watching, so I need to give some content. All right, so Doug will share with us in a bit in the comments. I'm excited to read what does he photograph? I'm excited to know that. So we are at the 3-minute 20 mark. We have some friends here. Okay, Doug says, been mostly doing live music over the years. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, cool. What instrument do you play? Or I guess you photograph live music, I would assume. So great. Lots of fun content creators here. And so today we're going to call out the 3 lies that hold us back from serving others in our content, these lies that keep us from creating content. Let's see, but I've done occasional weddings and portraits. Nice, Doug, great. So glad you're with us. So in these 3 lies, we're going to call them out to take away their power. I've created some slides for us. So fun, so fun, so fun. So let's get started. I'm going to share. Doug says the camera is my instrument. Oh, that's beautiful and so true. I'm going to share my screen so you can get to these slides as we unleash our power by calling out these 3 lies. I'm going to share it. Okay, slides are coming your way soon, or should be. All righty, we're going to present. And I am still learning BeLive, so be patient with me. And let's make sure these slides are showing up before I keep going. Hopefully, waiting a second. If you are already thinking you might know what one of these lies is, go ahead and put those in the comments so it'll be timestamped so we can see if you are right. Alrighty, so 3 lies that keep us from creating content. And did I mention these are lies that we most likely tell ourselves? So as I already shared, comments and questions are welcome. I want them, we want them. We're here to learn and grow together to cultivate productivity even in the midst of quarantine. So let's learn and grow together. So share your comments. I will first say and quote this amazing book that changed everything for me, and that is The 5-Second Rule by life coach Mel Robbins. And what she teaches here, it is really important. And when I read this 5 years ago and saw her TED Talk titled something like How to Stop Our Brains from Screwing Us Over. When I read this book 4 to 5 years ago, it changed everything for me in my creative process. And that led to my first book being published. I give Mel Robbins like all the credit for the first book, honestly. I even sent her a copy and said, you get all the credit for this. In this book, she teaches that our brain really prefers to be on autopilot. So whenever we have a moment when we are thinking of doing something creative and new and innovative and a little bit risky, it takes our brain 5 seconds to start telling us all the reasons why we should not do that thing. And some of those reasons, I think, are the top 3 lies that we're going to talk about in this video. So 5 seconds. So let's say you are at a party, and let's imagine that you're single and you see an attractive person across the room. It will take your brain 5 seconds to tell you all the reasons you shouldn't go talk to that person. So the exciting thing that we can do to stop our brain from screwing us over when we want to be creative is just taking one physical action, doing something. Mel Robbins talks about 1, 2, 3, act. And by doing something, maybe that is putting one step in front of the other toward that person that you find attractive, or laying out workout clothes the night before, or just jotting on a napkin, remind me to call Kansas orphanages next Tuesday. By doing a physical act, we are making a neurological imprint on our brain, and we're most likely to take the next step and the next step and the next step. And that little voice that's telling us all these negative stories of self-doubt, of self-sabotage, all these limiting lies, that voice gets quieter and quieter. It's still there. It's still there 5 years since I read this book by Mel Robbins. It's still there, but it's quieter. And I won't give it all away because I really want to recommend this tool to you. But there's so many, I have learned to quiet that voice, quiet these lies that are still there, and that come up often for content creators. So first and foremost, know that the brain likes to be on autopilot. And whenever we're about to do something creative or innovative, it'll take our brain 5 seconds to start telling us all the reasons why we shouldn't take that risk. But it's not speaking the truth to us. Those are limiting lies. And by taking one step, just one physical act, we quiet that voice and move closer toward that goal that we want. I have so much more to say about this book. It's riveting neurological research about how basically you can move your brain and your decision-making process to a place where it is every decision you make is similar to those moments of high adrenaline fight, flight, or freeze when you instinctively know what to do. You have this gut reaction to do something. Well, from a place of being calm and collected, you can still speed up your decision-making process and your creativity process because you learn how to quiet these lies. I've already said too much, but it's amazing to me how we can literally stop our brain from screwing us over. So now that we know that these lies are going to be there, that's our brain trying to keep us safe, and it thinks, oh no, an innovative step, don't do it. Now that we know that that's going to happen, let's move on to the first lie. Let me get some coffee for this one. The first lie that I have told myself, and I hear a lot of people that I work with, content creators, telling themselves, and that is this: it's not the right time. It's not the right time. It's a lie. It will never be the right time. You will always be busy. You will always have other expenses. It will never be the right time. Now, I want to offer a little disclaimer because in this Facebook group, I've been inviting you to join me every Tuesday night at 7 Central Standard Time as we bring on a lot of other spiritually attuned go-getters who are serving others through their content. And 2 weeks ago, you can scroll down this Facebook group to see all the videos, all the interviews. We interviewed David Hayward, the Naked Pastor, who is the graffiti artist on the walls of religion. And I know Doug and Tim, you know his work, and Doug's been to his house. So cool. And that video was funny because we got into that, we chased that fun bunny trail of comparing whiskeys. That was a good time. So David shared in that interview that he and his wife have taught his kids to feel the feels and to honor how they're feeling when they're creating. And what that means is that some days, if he doesn't feel like creating, he doesn't. But if you watch the video, I asked him a follow-up question that said, how often do you do that? And he said once a month. So that means majority of the time, most of the time, he's creating. He is creating his art. He is serving others. He's quieting those voices, those lies. So I want to let that be known. There is time to honor your feelings. But the majority of the time, as we learned in this interview, he was creating, because back to this slide, it is a lie to believe that it's not the right time. It never will be. You'll always be busy. You'll always have expenses. There will always be buts. So this is a beautiful thing, this next point. I encourage you to, well, let's back up a little bit. Actually, no. There will always be I want to create this thing, but I have kids at home with me in the quarantine. I want to create this thing, but I have board meetings every night of the week. There's this but, and there is this great book, Beautiful Constraints. I should have posted a picture of it, sorry. And in that book, it talks about how we can start to view our constraints as part of the creation process, and they can add to it. And I'm gonna get to this Saturday Night Live episode at home that they did last weekend in just a minute for this example. That's why that's there. So beautiful constraints, learning to look at the constraints in your life as a beautiful part of your creative process. So what I mean by that is moving it from a but to an and. Oh, that's a typo. That should read and. Make that but and, A-N-D. So what I mean by that, and my business coach recently showed me this example that went along beautifully with this book, Beautiful Constraints. So imagine that you have this idea that you want. Maybe I need 2 objects like he did, because that was super helpful to see. Okay, 2 objects. I got 2 lemons. So in this example, you have this idea. I want to start a podcast, but I have board meetings every night. And so as these 2 objects, they're coming together. I want to create a podcast, but I have board meetings every night. They will, as long as there's a but, you'll always be stuck. So you have to learn to look at that constraint as something beautiful, like in the book, Beautiful Constraints. And how can that add to your creative process? How can you make it I'm going to create a podcast and I have board meetings every night. And so then with that and, you're no longer stuck. And recently, because of COVID, there's been an amazing example of this with Saturday Night Live, where they took that, their thing was, we need to go live on Saturday night for our show, but we're all quarantined in our homes, so we can't get together. So they're stuck. So they made it an and. So comment below if you knew that they did this. Comment below if you knew that the cast of Saturday Night Live did a show from home. They were all in their homes. Comment below if you're aware of that. They made that but an and. And something beautiful happened when they decided to do this. So they made it much more personal. There's a great sketch that Kate McKinnon does where she plays Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and this is her dressing up as Ruth on Saturday Night Live. But because of COVID, everyone stuck at home. So we got something really exciting. We got to see all the SNL members at home. So this constraint, which was once a but, became an and it became a beautiful part of the creative process. So what you see is Kate used I love this, a doily. You see, yeah, it doesn't look as professional as the professional costume designers on SNL, but Kate's in her home. She got to be fun with a doily. Her hair's not dyed like it is in the show, but we all understand it because we're all in quarantine right now. So it's another beautiful difference to these sketches, seeing these amazing comedians at home creating. And then another one, a constraint. Larry David plays Bernie Sanders, and because they were at home, they shifted a bit. Obviously, they're all at home. Could I say that again? They're all at home. We're all at home right now. So when they were writing Larry David's lines to play Bernie Sanders, because they didn't have a wig to put on Larry to make him look like Bernie, because Bernie has a little bit more hair on top, they wrote in Larry's script something along the lines of, the stress of COVID or the stress of Biden made me lose my hair. So this constraint that was once a but, and they made it an and, this constraint added a whole nother level of comedy to their work. Another great one, Saturday Night Live comedian Ego Nwodim, she did this amazing sketch where she, imagining or pretending that she was out of makeup. And so all over YouTube right now, there are these makeup tutorial videos. And because of COVID, she made this amazing sketch that would have never worked until now, until this but of, we have to go live on Saturday night, but we're all at home because of COVID. We can't get together. And that just they let that but take their creativity to a whole nother level. So she did this makeup tutorial video in COVID that we're all out of makeup and we have to use markers. It's hilarious. You have to go YouTube it immediately. So the first lie we call out is that it's not the right time. I encourage you to relook at some of those things that you're calling buts and call them ands instead, so you're no longer stuck. And use Saturday Night Live as an example. The first ever episode of Saturday Night Live in its 45 years shot at home, they used the constraint and made it part of their creativity process. And I guarantee anything that you are saying in life is a but for you. I want to write a book, but chances are it's an and. And if you need help, I can help you make that an and. Okay, lie number 2. I want to start a blog. I want to write a song. I want to write a book. I want to start a podcast. I want to coach, but my work is not original. Or I kind of made these 2 lies, I squished them into one. My work is not original, or it's common sense. All right. So what I want to say about this one is, if you are thinking that, actually, I'm going to pause and back up for a second. Comment below if you have ever had a moment where you had a but moment. I want to do this, but I have board meetings every night, or the kids are home. Or comment below if you have had that happen. Give me a yes or a thumbs up. All right, now we'll move on to number 2. My work is not, I can't create this content because my work is not original, and it's common sense. People know all this, don't they? We're going to take the first one. My work is not original. There's a great quote by Marie Forleo of Marie TV, life and business coach. Create the life and business. She has a great statement. I'm sorry, I butchered it. But she has this quote that says, stay on your game and keep going for your dreams. The world needs that special gift that only you have. So chances are you might be thinking, this idea that I want to create, others are already doing it. It's not original. That is true. There are niche mates. There's nothing new under the sun. And you have niche mates, not competition, niche mates, people who are doing similar work as you to a similar audience as you. They are writing about they're creating around a similar subject as you. However, the perspective, the personality, the goals that you specifically bring, those are unique to you. Those aren't original. And so bring that into your work and know that the world needs that. They need your unique personality and perspective. And there's always new ways to gather and present information because, yeah, there's nothing new under the sun. But you're new, your perspective, your personality, that's all unique. So tap into it. The second part of that lie is, isn't my work common sense? Doesn't everyone know this already? I can't write a book about that. Everyone already knows that. I have a newsflash for you. Not everyone. Everyone doesn't know that. Drink break. And again, I'd like to remind you to post any comments or questions below and we will get to them. Okay, so in front of you is an image of prison and then paradise. Prison, paradise. So think about think about the subject matter that you want to create around. Maybe it's, well, we had authors scroll down to see the video from last Sunday, the book and blog showcase, where Tim Higgins and Michelle Collins, Melody Cole, and Todd Vick all previewed their books for us. And we got to check out a little bit of Tim's blog. So glad Tim's with us watching this. So let's take Melody Cole's book, Sentiments of a Survivor, and she's writing about beating cancer. So there's a chance that, no, there's not a chance. It's very likely. Let's say, I don't remember her exact timeline, but 5 years ago when she got diagnosed from cancer, she did not know everything that she knows now about cancer. So 5 years ago, we could say that she was kind of in a prison in a sense, and is now in a paradise 5 years later. She has beat it. She knows so much about chemo treatment. She knows so much about self-care. She knows so much about the mental game of going through cancer. So the people she's serving, they are where she was 5 years ago. And her tools and her content is going to help them go from prison to paradise. So if you think about it, regardless of what problem you're helping your client or your customer solve, where they are where you were mentally 5 to 7 years ago. And God can use you in all that you've learned. They can find light and they can find help and freedom in your content. So take them from prison to paradise. And now the other beautiful part of this image is that there are people in your world that are 5 to 7 years where they are now, professionally or personally, is where you want to be 5 to 7 years from now. So really, they're in a paradise that you want to move to. And so this visual is really helpful to think about when you think, and I think about it. It comes up to me all the time in my creating and in writing or in podcasting, this idea that, or in speaking, this idea that this is common sense. No one's going to exchange values of money for this information. It's common sense. To some it is, but there's a big, ginormous crowd of your audience that are exactly where you were mentally, emotionally, or spiritually 5 to 7 years ago, and you need to serve them. You need to take them from prison to paradise with your content. Okay, the last lie we're going to go through today, once again, post your comments and questions. The last lie that we're going to call out is water break or coffee break. Okay, the last lie is my desire to create is egotistical. And I have said this one to myself, and I have heard so many other, gonna call it out like it is, so many other Christian content creators say this one. And that's why they're afraid of marketing, and it's why no one knows about their healing work, because they won't market, because they believe that it is their desire to write a book, teach an online course, start a podcast, start a blog, write a song. They believe that their desire to create is narcissistic, egotistical, all about them, self-centered, sinful, whatever the word is. I've heard it. It's all the same lie. Your desire to create is not egotistical. Your desire to create is your desire to live into who God made you to be as a co-creator. So own it. Okay, sermon over. Okay, let's call out this lie. There is a great Bible verse that I hope shows up, but I know the font's going to be kind of small. But it's this idea that John 17:21, Jesus is praying for all of us to be one, as you and I are, Father. Jesus is talking to God, that they are one as us, that the world may believe that you sent me. The glory which you have given me, I have given to them. The glory that you have given me, I've given to them, that they may be one, even as we are one. So what I want to bring our attention to, and this might feel a little new agey or woo-woo to you at first, so lo siento, but bear with me, because I believe that this is biblical as well. This idea that as the body of Christ, we become one body. And when we are one body, when we're prayerfully in tune with who God made us to be, we can start to feel and sense the needs of other people. You're like, Meg, this is nothing new. You're not preaching to me. You're not teaching me anything new here. So bear with me. What I want to suggest with this idea that if we as Christians get on the bandwagon that we are all one, that we celebrate this oneness with each other, and the Holy Spirit moves through each other, the Holy Spirit, God can speak to us, to others, then what I want to present to you is this big correction to this lie that your desire to create is egotistical and selfish. That is this: if there is an idea on your heart to create content, whether it be a book, a blog, podcast, a song, whatever, it is there because someone out there is desperately waiting to be helped by your content. Mind blowing. The only reason it's there is because God is counting on you to serve someone with that content. The only reason it's there is someone is desperately hungry and desperately waiting to be helped through your content. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, if you're willing to step outside the tools of Scripture to see how God can speak to us, then I highly encourage this book. I actually have a copy of it right here. And it is this idea, this really drilled this idea home for me. This book, Happy Pocket Full of Money, Infinite Wealth and Abundance in the Here and Now. And in this book, this really drilled home the point to me that if I have an idea to create something, because someone needs to be helped by it. And if me sharing this book that had the words infinite wealth or abundance made you feel uncomfortable, chances are you have a mental block around making money or spending money, which I used to as well as a holy roller. So I'd highly recommend this book for you. David Hayward, Money is Spiritual. It has reflection questions. You can get it done super easy, quick read. And that'll get you over that money block so you can start experiencing a value exchange of making money through your content you're creating and provide for your family and serve others. So I want to call that out. If you got triggered by the title of this book, Infinite Wealth and Abundance, because you are like me, a recovering holy roller, recognize that trigger is a money block, and that's going to keep holding you up as you serve others with your content. So check out David Hayward's book, Money is Spiritual. Get over that block, because the world needs you to reach your potential. The world needs you to create content that serves others. So that's a lie that we call out. Lie number 2, my desire to create is egotistical. We say, no, that is a lie. However, chances are that unless you want to remove all of your body hair, your idea is there to serve others. And most likely it's going to bring you joy as well. And that's an amazing perk, isn't it? To serve others with our content while finding joy in the creation process. So unless you're going to remove all your body hair, any idea you have is there to serve others. And also, water break or coffee break. I would like to encourage you to trust yourself. to trust yourself. Trust yourself now. Trust yourself 5 years from now when your book's done, when your blog started, when your podcast is up and going with 12,000 downloads. Trust yourself that if ever you are creating content, whether it be marketing or just, well, really, that's a whole nother video we should make, is how marketing is content creation. But trust yourself that if ever you're creating or marketing from a place that's not serving others, that you'll know it. You'll know it. The Holy Spirit will remind you. You will know it, and you'll shift, you'll pivot, you'll move differently. You'll be aware enough to know, oh, this place that I'm creating out of right now, this isn't coming from a place of serving others with my talents. This is coming from a place of trying to defend myself or trying to prove myself, or this is coming from a place of me being vengeful. I've been there. This is not a good place for me to create from. So trust yourself. And I know that some of us from religious backgrounds, we are, that idea of trusting ourselves is looked down upon. And so I might be disrupting thought patterns or ruffling some feathers by encouraging you to trust yourself. You will know if the place from which you are creating or marketing is coming out of a place that's not serving others. All right, so the 3 lies that keep us from creating content are, once again, drop any comments or questions below. Let me check over here. Good morning all the time. Okay, and I have some good questions. Okay, awesome. Oh, Doug says John 10:10 is about abundance. Yes, you're exactly right. Some of us holy rollers in the Christian faith, we forget that. And then awesome question. Okay, I'm going to get to Tim's question in just a minute. Okay, so to recap, those that just tuned in, these are the 3 lies that do nothing but keep you from creating content that's going to serve others. The lies are, it's not the right time. Number 2, my work is not original / it's common sense. So if you're just tuning in, I encourage you to watch the whole thing to see how we call out those lies and remove them of their power. Coffee break. And then the last lie, number 3, is my desire to create is egotistical. It's all for me. So in this video, we just called out all of those lies. And Doug had a question, not Doug, Tim had a question. Tim's question is, oh, and that was 10 minutes ago, so hopefully I answered that. The question is, what if you are quite sure your work is original, but you don't think anyone wants to listen? That's a great question, Tim. And I have asked that many times, and others have too that I work with whom I work. And I hope that when we talked about on the second point, the third point, when we talked about how if an idea is on your heart to create it, it is there because someone desperately needs you to create that content, because it's going to help them move from this, whatever type of prison they're in, to paradise, this paradise around the subject that you're creating around. And so know that if your book or your blog post, if you feel it's original and you also worry, will anyone want to listen? Yes, there are those that want to listen, or else there are those that want to read, or else it wouldn't be there on your heart to create. I don't think the Holy Spirit would have placed it on your heart to create it. Are there any other questions or comments? Did any of you guess these? I think you did. I think when I threw this out on Facebook, my personal page, I had 12 people comment, and they hit the nail on the head. They got all of them, which is wonderful. So I encourage you that whether you are making your first blog, song, podcast, book, starting to coach, whatever it is you're doing, that you cannot let these lies hold you back any longer. Folks are waiting to be served through your content. And if you hear anything from our time together this morning, I hope that it's that. So go forward knowing that you got this, And you know it. You know you do. You're a co-creator with God. Go forth and create. And then come back here Tuesday night at 7 Central Standard Time. I'll be interviewing life coach and author Ashley Boyd, Anointed with Purpose life coach, making your life make a difference, 7 Central Standard Time. And she will be giving us 3 practical tips for peace, patience, and productivity. So be back here 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. And before I sign off, are there any other, I guess share in the comments, which of these lies hit home the most for you? And I will go back to that slide. Which of these lies hit home the most for you? Number 1, it's not the right time for me to create content. Number 2, my work is not original, it's common sense. Or number 3, my desire to create is egotistical. Which of these 3 hit home the most for you? Okay, oh, we got more questions. Yes. Okay, thank you, Karen. Glad you're here. Karen says, these are good. Number 2 gets to me. My work is not original. So Karen, can you share with us what you are creating? And then while she's doing that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. All right. Tim says, yes, your point about inspiration from the Holy Spirit is good. Thank you. Okay, so glad that helped you, Tim. We all need those reminders. And then Doug, question, how do you choose which to create when you have multiple ideas over a variety of disciplines? Ooh, that's a great question. That's a great question. How do you choose which to create when you have multiple ideas over a variety of disciplines? Man, that sounds like another video we need to do for sure. And so Doug, I'd like to, Doug, if you can share what disciplines and what ideas. And I would be curious to know if, as you write those, if there's a way that those can, the same overarching idea might be tapping into a variety of your skills. Because I and others have experienced moments like that, where I want to use this tool and this talent and this tool, and then we realize that the same overarching project is going to be calling on all those talents of ours, on all those different tools that we want to use. So yeah, tell me more about that, Doug. And then Tim says, I get told number 3, unless you are in church leadership, you don't have a right as such. Oh yeah, I'm going to put a sad face on that one. Number 3, oh yes, my desire to create is narcissistic or egotistical. Yeah, I have heard that from others as well. Yes. And so then we ask ourselves, but isn't there fruit in my work? The fruits of the Spirit are showing up in for example, in Tim's YouTube channel, where people are going to church with him, growing closer to God and through Christ in him, through his work. So yep, number 3 definitely hits home. And then Karen, okay, Karen, I'm assuming this is Karen. I am a newspaper writer. Sorry guys, bouncing comments in different places. I'm a newspaper writer and would like to expand into fiction. Ooh, so exciting. Oh, that gives me chills, Karen. I'm so excited for you. Alrighty. We all are saints, are we not? Yes, I agree, Tim, 100%. Yes. Yes. Reading your comments. Okay, and then I missed a comment. Someone said it's never the right time. I want to find that comment. Who said that? It's never the right. Okay, Doug, it has never been the right time. Man, Doug, you're giving us so much good content today. So Karen, you want to move into fiction. You already write for the newspaper. And number 2 gets to you because you feel like your work might not be original and or it's common sense to everyone. So Karen, I hope that you, I don't know if you were watching when we were at the number 2. Obviously you were, because you heard it, but the steps, the truth to speak to that lie that are in this video were super helpful to me, and I hope they be super helpful to you too as you move into fiction. And I want to hear more about that. And then someone commented, in the past, I have been a photographer for my student newspaper and did the occasional arts and culture article. I'm also politically active with aspirations to lead the political party I belong to. Awesome. Yeah, that is true. Someone just said, nothing new under the sun. It's all been done before. It has all been done before, but it hasn't been done by you through your unique perspective, your awesome personality that's going to become part of your brand as an author, and your unique goals. So own it, Karen, own it. And okay, so Doug, I have been a photographer. Okay, you said that one. Politically active and aspirations to lead a political party I belong to. Okay, so Doug, your question of how do you know which idea to chase when it's over lots of disciplines, and you have different ideas through different disciplines, which idea to chase? I think that is a great topic for next Sunday's video. So thank you, Doug, for giving me that idea. And I will bring some tips that I've shared with other clients that I work with that are content creators. I'll share that next Sunday. So be here, join me back here next Sunday morning, same time, 10 Central Standard. And we will talk about this Doug inspired topic that we've all been there before. How do I know which idea to chase if I have more than one and they're through different disciplines? Ooh, I'm excited for that. I'm so glad you're going to own it. I'm so glad you're going to own it, Karen. Yay. I'm so excited for your fiction book. Yes, you do, Karen. Karen says, you're right. I bring my own personality and quirks to anything I create. You do. And God made you to do exactly that. And Doug says, I have paid work has always taken away from my passions. I work in accounting. I see, for a hotel. Okay, well, this is going to be, thank you, Doug, for sharing. This is going to be a great video next Sunday. I'm so excited. And if you are around this Tuesday night, again at 7 Central Standard Time, we'll be going live with life coach and author Ashley Boyd to give us 3 practical tips on cultivating peace, patience, and productivity. Thank you, Karen and Doug and Tim, for your comments and questions. And I can't wait to be with you again. And Doug's question is the motivation for our video next Sunday morning. Can't wait. Thank you, friends. Keep on cultivating.